Installation of the Aquatron water still A8000. The first thing you need to do is to check that all the parts are actually in the box when you receive it. You should have a reservoir water level sensor, you should have a funnel, 2 condensers, a boiler level control, you should have a hose kit, a wall mounting bracket, 2 heaters, and the unit itself with the perspex lid. Okay. To remove the perspex screen cover, it's a case of putting your fingers underneath the finger recess, pulling up and lifting out, and the screen can be removed. Inside, the unit comes with its hose assemblies, and the boiler is actually fitted. Okay. We need to take the lids off, so removing the 6 retaining screws, we can remove the lid. And also the side panel, we can remove the side panel as well. On the boiler we have retaining springs, the front and on the back, and they are held together with this elastic tie. What you need to do before you start assembling is to snip that tie and remove it. I will leave it on for the purpose of this demonstration. On the vapour tubes on the boiler, you can see we have a sealing ring and a stabilising ring on both tubes. You need to check that they're in place and they are of good quality. They're not, there's no erosion on there or anything. What we need to do now is to connect the condensers up. And we start off, we're going to connect one of the condensers to the left hand side vapour tube. Go from the top, push it onto the vapour tube. So, okay, when you feel slight resistance, okay, push down slightly to create a seal until you have approximately 3/4 of an inch gap between the bottom of the condenser and the boiler itself. You should also ensure that the distillate outlet tube is facing the front and the 2 cold water connections on the condenser are parallel to the unit. We then connect our condenser up. We have our tube assemblies inside, and as you can see, each tube assembly, the connectors at the end are fitted with a number. Okay. For the left-hand vapour tube, we need to identify number 2 and number 4. Number 2 comes from the water flow sensor assembly, and it has a number 2 written there, and that connects to the bottom connector of the condenser. We then identify number 4, which is off the other hose assembly, and that connects to the top connector of the left-hand condenser. Next thing is to fit the right hand condenser. Same thing from the top, put the condenser in, the distillate outlet tube at the front, press down slightly, approximately 3/4 of an inch gap between the boiler and the condenser. We will then look at the numbers again on the connectors. Number 3 actually connects to the top of the right hand condenser, and number 1 connects to the bottom of the condenser. Tube number 1 is a bit longer, and what we do is we make a loop and then we connect it on. We then connect up the outlets, distillate outlets of our 2 condensers. Inside our hose kit, we've got this 8mm tubing. We have a metre length, a T-piece, and then 2 other lengths, and the tubes are held on to this T-piece by 3 tie wraps. You've got 180mm and 100mm. So So what we need to do is to connect the 180mm length to the left hand condenser. And we then connect the 100mm length to the right hand condenser. These two connectors then will need to be tie wrapped. For the purpose of this demonstration, I will leave the tie wraps off. Now the distillate outlet can be fed through the bottom hole there, which is if the unit is to be wall mounted, and around the side the furthest hole there, which is if it's to be bench mounted. Again, for the purpose of this demonstration, I will put it through the hole at the side for a bench mounted unit. We will then fit our boiler level control. Now on the boiler level control we've got a rotor flow stopcock. Ensure that is fully closed. Also we've got the boiler plastic coupling. What we need to do is to remove one of the split nuts, okay, and the central portion. We will then connect this boiler level control to the boiler. Okay. We will also connect the 16mm earth spigot to the drain. To connect the 16mm earth spigot, the 16mm tubing which we connect to there, first of all we put it in a beaker of hot water. This will make the tubing supple. Leave it in there for about 20 to 30 seconds. We then connect it onto the drain of our boiler level control. This gets pushed further on, and then a tie wrap can be applied around there. Again, for the purpose of this demonstration, I'll leave the tie wrap off. Okay, we will then take our 1 metre of 16mm tubing from our hose kit, and we will basically connect this through from the outside to the in, through the largest hole in the side of the cabinet. We will then push it through approximately 12 inches. Again, we need to put it in a beaker of water, hot water, for about 20 to 30 seconds. We then push the hose through the largest hole inside of the cabinet. Okay, we then connect our 16mm tubing to our 16mm earth spigot. Like so. Again, that connected up our boiler level control. We then need to pull out our 16mm tubing, pull it out of the unit until we get a gap of approximately 5 to 10mm between the boiler connection and the boiler level control connection there. We then put our split nut and the central portion of our boiler plastic coupling onto the boiler connection, like so. We then put the seal of the boiler plastic coupling, ensuring that it goes inside both the boiler and the boiler level connection itself. We then do up the connection. Okay, we then take our black plastic cap off our boiler level control. Inside we've got a seal. Put that on, and then we can place our funnel inside the top, and then just finger tight the black cap up like so. We then look again at our hose assembly to number 5, and that connects onto the arm of our boiler level control. So we then take the remaining 8mm piece of 8mm tubing, that then goes through the side of the cabinet again, through the middle hole, and that is the drain, cold water drain. When the hoses are connected, it may be necessary to move the condensers slightly, move the drain hoses slightly, until all the kinks are removed from the actual hoses. So the water should come in through your condensers and out through the drain in a smooth manner. On the boiler we have these 2 black caps which we need to remove. Inside the black caps we have the rubber seal. Okay. These are what we're going to put onto the heaters, and we're going to fit the heaters into the boiler. We take one heater, put the cap on until approximately 1 inch from the end. You then need to fill the black cap with the seal. So put the seal on like so. Again, when you get to the end, you need to put the seal inside the cap like so. We then take the heater and thread it in carefully to the boiler. When we're in, we then do the cap up. Okay, we then do the same thing for the left hand side. Are in place. You can see at the end of the boiler we have these cutouts. Okay, the caps should be tightened up. So what you then need to do is to push the heater through the remaining part of the seal until they both fit snug into the nodules at the end of the boiler. Don't force them in because you'll break the glass. When they're in, again just hand tightened up, so the 2 heaters fit like that in the boiler. We then have our heater cables, which the front one we feed through the hole there into the electrical compartment, and the rear one goes through the other hole like so. We will then connect the heaters to the heater terminal block in there. The actual heater terminal block is labelled front heater and rear heater, and you can connect them blue to blue and brown to brown. When the heaters are connected, we can then fit our end plate. Again, 6 screws. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to do it up with 1 screw. And our lid, which fits on the top, and is held in with 6 countersunk screws. Okay. When we've got the end plate on and the lid on, we can then connect up our cold water supply. Again, we've provided the mini valve assembly on this connector here. Use a suitable length of hose, obviously connect it with a Jubilee clip, and that fits on there. You can then connect up the electrics. Obviously this needs to be done by a qualified electrician. When that's done, we can then connect our reservoir water level sensor. The bell part of it actually fits into the reservoir. The free end we fit to the connection of our pressure switch, which is on there. That then fits into our reservoir like so. When you've switched on your unit, check that there's no leaks or any damage inside. When that's done and you're happy, you can then fit your Perspex viewing screen, fits on there and drops in like so.